Welcome back. Okay, so let's admit it has been a little hard keeping track of President Trump's trip to Asia this week because there have been so many bizarre stories here at home in his absence. You got it. Roy Moore, the Republican U.S. Senate candidate from Alabama. Republicans in Washington had no love for him before it appeared that he was going to head anyway to victory in next month's special election. And that was until yesterday when news broke of allegations he assaulted a number of teenage girls 30 years ago. This was just capped a bad week for the president and his party. Democrats sweeping to elections this week in Virginia, New Jersey, and St. Petersburg, Florida. Polls show declining approval ratings for the president and the Republican-controlled Congress. And joining us for more is Dion Ramos of the Northport Republican Club, Kevin Griffith, the vice chair of the Sarasota Democratic Party, and we welcome back Kate Bradshaw, the politics editor of Creative Loafing. So let's start with the president and his trip from one end of Asia to the other, from Beijing now to Vietnam. And it's been hard for people to get a handle of what this trip means in the big picture, except for the comparison to what the president said about China on the campaign trail and what he said when he was actually in Beijing. Let's take a look.
We can't continue to allow China to rape our country. They're getting away with murder. I don't blame China. After all, who can blame a country for being able to take advantage of another country for the benefit of its citizens? I give China great credit.
Diana, a lot of the Republicans on the Sun Coast liked President Trump when he was running for office, basically sticking it to China. And there's been such a 180 in terms of the attitude and his speeches while this week in Beijing.
Well, you know, people still love Trump, okay? And the reason why he's going to Asia, so I mean, he's showing the American people that he's able to build these relationships with these countries and still say what the American people feel in their hearts. Overall, this trip is a great trip to reassure our Asian counterparts that we, the United States, will be with them. And at the same time, he's keeping good on his promises about starting that conversation about trade here in America.
A little bit difference in the rhetoric?
I think that splattering of applause that you saw between the first and second clip there explains it all. You heard on the campaign trail currency manipulator. You heard the trade rhetoric on the campaign trail. Trump goes to Asia, and they played him perfectly. They feted him with glory and kind words, and in return, he only had kind words for them.
You know, Kate, I know you've had a busy week. You covered the St. Pete mayor's race, which we'll talk about a little bit. But you said that you came home, turned on the TV, and there was the president in Beijing, and it really struck you.
Yeah, actually, this was earlier in the week when he was in South Korea, and it was Tuesday night, and I was kind of trying to write up some of my election coverage from earlier in the evening, and he's talking about his golf courses. He's talking about how in the South Korean women in the women's PGA were playing at his golf courses, and I just thought it just struck me as so weird. I mean, what kind of bizarro land are we in?
Dion, you're shaking your head, but that did strike a lot of observers as not something usually a president would do on the international stage.
Well, you know, Donald Trump is not a normal president by any means, but what people don't do and what the media certainly doesn't do is focus on the main points that he's trying to get at, especially with this trip.
Well, when he makes comments like that, does he take away from the point he's really trying to make? Because, as you said, you know, most presidents have never brought up their personal business ties on the international stage.
No, I mean, I don't think so. You know, people still have strong ties to him. The Republicans, you know, they're slowly but surely getting behind him in the long run. And like I said before, this trip, even though he does have a character, we all know that, but what we should be focusing on is, you know, these points that he's making.
I want to give you the last word.
The problem, Alan, is the seriousness of what's happening in Asia. First of all, you have North Korea, which is the ultimate serious issue right now, and China, whose economy is on track to try to take over America.
All right, we have to take a quick break, but we are just getting warmed up, and we'll have much more on the president's trip and politics in the U.S. when we come back.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-307-2040 now and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you the #1 mistakes retirees are making with their investments today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-307-2040 to have your free information kit rushed to your door. Again, that's 800-307-2040.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 3 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317. Go online or visit a Target store today.
All hands on deck. What's up? I want to point out 3 tips for using the home computer more safely. Point away.
First, stop. Make sure your software is up to date and that you've password protected your computer's login and Wi-Fi connection.
Next, think before visiting a site, opening attachments, or clicking on links.
Then connect, knowing you're helping make the web safer for you
and for everyone. Make Stop, Think, Connect part of your daily online routine.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Well, the lights are bright out here right now, shining on all the different sculpting that's going on. It has been going on all day long. They do it again tomorrow on Saturday, and then Sunday afternoon is when they'll find out who wins for this particular event, which is great out here on CSK. Let's go to the weather and show you how good things are. In fact, things are looking pretty nice right here along the Suncoast, and we'll continue to see pretty good weather for the weekend, too, as a result of a high-pressure system building in behind this front that brought us kind of the clouds and fog today. Well, that has faded away, and we're looking for high pressure to build back in, and it should be rather mild. Again, the Van Wezel webcam showing the sun is set, but still we're looking at calm conditions out there in the water right now. Currently, we have mostly fair skies, a few clouds, and temperature now into the upper 60s to low 70s across the Suncoast. North-northeast winds at 6 and the pressure 30.05 inches. That continues to rise. That's always a good sign. The high today was 73. Despite the clouds and despite the fog, we still warmed up to 73. Our average high is at 80, and the record 88 set back in 1942. The low this morning was 67 degrees. No rainfall to report today, and it will stay dry. Looks like through the weekend for the most part. Someone was asking if it's going to rain over the weekend. There's a very slight chance we may see a passing shower, but it won't stick around all that long. Temperatures currently in Osprey at 72, Kensington Park 71, 73 now in Port Charlotte, and Northport now at 72 degrees. Well, the hourly forecast for Saturday looks to be pretty nice. Sunshine throughout most of the day. A few clouds developing in the afternoon and evening, and we will see a little chance. I mentioned 20% chance for a passing shower. You'll see that on the Futurecast as we move through time. A few showers along the East Coast tomorrow, and then some of those will work their way over toward the West Coast, but most of them, as I said, will be fast movers, and they'll hit and get out of here pretty quickly. Sunday, look for similar conditions. The rain chance only at 20%. Well, nationally, what we got going on? Well, cold air over the northern plain states and throughout the mid-Mississippi Valley right now. Over the southeast, things are quiet as that area of low pressure has moved on. A few showers along the east coast near West Palm Beach, and up the coast toward the Bahamas, some showers there. You can see they're kind of dropping off to the southwest right now. And as far as the forecast goes, more cold air is expected to break out over the northern plains over the next week or so, with cold Arctic air settling in. Out west, the good news is finally some showers over Northern California, Washington, and Oregon. Things are looking kind of cloudy and wet there. Well, temperatures, get a look at them. We're loving it down here with 70-degree temperatures. Right now in New York, it's about 30 degrees. In Cleveland, it's 29. Chicago, the same, 23 in Minneapolis. I don't think they're doing many sand sculpting going on right now in Minneapolis. Maybe some snow. That's right, they might be making some snowmen. Here's the boating forecast. Northeast winds 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be 2 to 3 feet with a moderate chop on the bays and inland waters. The water temperature now 75 degrees and the UV index at a 10. For us tomorrow, so a lot higher than it was today. Tides are on your screen right there. Low tide upcoming at 10:12, and the forecast for tonight: clearing skies over the entire area, just a few clouds, 66 for your low. It should be perfect out here until 9 o'clock, and then for tomorrow, looks good. We will see generally sunny skies, a few clouds in the afternoon, a high near 82, and then the extended forecast is calling for nice weather again on Sunday. That rain chance at 20%. We have a weak front moving through. Come early Monday, it will cool things down into the upper 70s Tuesday through Friday of next week. Well, Alan will be right back after this. Stick around.
At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A Medicare supplement plan can cover your deductibles and coinsurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans, and prescription drug coverage isn't included. But with an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. It's all described in this free book and DVD. Call for yours and discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. Call 1-855-395-9803. That's 1-855-395-9803 now.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Dotoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
Welcome back. We're talking about the week in politics, and joining us for more is Dion Ramos of the Northport Republican Club, Kevin Griffith, the vice chair of the Sarasota Democratic Party, and we welcome back Keith Bradshaw, the politics editor at Creative Loafing. So there were elections this week from New Jersey to Virginia to Florida, and we're always looking at the tea leaves in terms of how do elections today portend the midterms or the presidential election in a couple of years. Democrats did pretty good. They kept the governor's mansion in Virginia, and they won it back in New Jersey and in St. Pete in the close election. Mayor Kreisman defeated the former mayor, Rick Baker, and I'm wondering what that tells us first, let's take a look at what the new governors say it tells us.
This is one of the first major elections since Donald Trump was elected. Tonight, New Jersey sent an unmistakable message to the entire nation. We are better than this.
That we will not condone hatred and bigotry, and to end the politics that have torn this country apart.
Dion, you heard what the new governors have to say. What are local Republicans feeling right now with so much on the line in the next few years?
I mean, it's the same rhetoric we hear every year. These are normal candidate, normal elections, both tough fights with the Republicans and Democrats in both states. Democrats came on an end on both states that are typically Democratic. So not much of a story here. Doesn't scare us a bit, and we're just preparing for the upcoming elections in the future.
New Jersey it had a Republican governor up until now, although they are in the presidential years, Democratic. In Virginia, it's always been close. It is a purple state, not much different than Florida. So, there's been some observations that the problem that Ed Gillespie, the Republican, had in Virginia is that on one hand, he refused to campaign with the president. On the other hand, he tried to trumpet Trump's culture war.
Well, one of the things that the Democrats did well in Virginia was that they came off during their midterms. They were very left, and then when it came to the general against the Republicans, he became very moderate and started saying that he'd work with the administration, and he got very right on things like sanctuary cities, which brought moderate voters in. So if the Republican ticket wasn't as, exciting that time around, it'll
Kevin,
around another day.
Do these elections give you and other Democrats a lot of energy? Is there a game plan that you can glean from how these candidates did it?
Well, first let me touch on what Dion said. What amazes me is that the Republicans were coming out and saying, well, Ed Gillespie, who's been a traditional Republican for 30 years and was the chair of the Republican Party, argued that he needed to move more to the right. This is what Trump is doing to the Republican Party, is saying you need to shift further to the extremism, racism, and these types of things. And that's what he needed to do to win. Yes, of course, it's energizing the local Democrats here in Sarasota. We have a race, as you know, House District 72. That was a district that Trump narrowly won. It's February 13th is the general election. We have a primary right now, December 5th. Whoever comes out of that is going to be a very strong Democrat. And you're going to see here in Sarasota that the local voters are fed up with Donald Trump.
Kate, the nearest race that we had here in terms of this election season was the St. Pete mayor's race, where Donald Trump actually became the central theme in a mayoral contest. How and what does that say to you? Because if you look at Pinellas County in general, Pinellas County went for Trump in the election.
Right, but St. Petersburg didn't. It's a very, very progressive city. They tend to elect, it's a nonpartisan election ostensibly, but it's really not. Both parties had so much invested, while in a way it became kind of a proxy, I wouldn't call it an analog to these other races, just because the Kreisman administration, the incumbent, who's a Democrat, had all of these vulnerabilities that, some were real, some were perceived, some were kind of blown up in the media and on social media.
Dion, I want to get some quick reaction from you, because all of this takes place in the context where there were a bevy of new polling coming out today. One from the Washington Post and ABC News finds that the majority of Americans say President Trump has not accomplished much during his first 9 months in office, and that Trump's approval rating is lower than any previous chief executive at this point in his presidency.
Well, look, we can look at the polls all we want, but when we go in the streets, we talk to people, we talk to voters, they love Trump, they love his ideas, they love how he's able to connect with the people. And I mean, he's shown that even in Asia. He's able to connect with the Asian leaders and the people and energize the population. That's what he's doing here in Sarasota.
Kevin, that's the big question. That, this polling might say what it says, and there was another recent poll that shows that, in general, in Florida, Trump's approval rating basically mirrors what you see nationally. But this isn't the rest of Florida. This is Trump country, and the question is whether Democrats are making a dent here.
Well, the argument the Democrats have to make is that Democrats govern better. Democrats believe that government can work for people, and Donald Trump and the Republican Party are entirely anti-government. They, and especially, we were talking earlier, Deanna and I, down in the Northport area. The Northport area went very strong for Trump, but the issue is going to be governance, and the Republican Party and their inability to get things done at the national level, but also here at the local level. If you look at local coverage this week of Greg Steube, State Senator Greg Steube's bill to the tree ordinance, to regulate local city tree ordinances. That means in Northport, in Venice, in Sarasota, you would not be able to, your government would not be able to come up with their own
We should do a whole
ordinances.
show on that, because that gets into local rule over state rule and so forth. But
preemption's huge.
I want to bring up another issue here, because the balance of power in Congress right now is on the line. It is so close. It's 52-48. You have a Senate candidate in Alabama, Roy Moore, a former Chief Justice who has been removed twice from the bench, and this week was accused by several women of abusing them decades ago. Let's take a look at this. It is a tweet from Roy Moore, basically denying the allegations and said that he never will give up this fight, even though Senate Republicans seem to have severed financial ties with him and are backing away. Deanna, what do you make of this?
I only got one thing to say about this. You're innocent until proven guilty. And if it's true, I would definitely urge him to step down.
Knowing what you know now, would you vote for him if you lived in Alabama?
Like I said again, he's innocent until proven guilty. And if the courts find him guilty, I would urge him to step down.
Well, that's unlikely.
Yeah, it's statute of limitations.
No, I'm a lawyer in town here, and here's the issue. Yes, you are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, but in this instance, he's running to be the representative of the state of Alabama in the United States Senate. Those are two different things. He's running to be the leader of his state, and I just find it baffling that some Republicans have chosen to dismiss this pedophilia, because that's what it is.
But Kate, let me ask you this, because as journalists, I mean, we have often come across allegations amongst a lot of things that could take place years ago without any evidence. Why are the rules here differently for reporting on this?
Well, I think in this instance you have 4 women who are named. Unlike in many other stories or many other instances, they're not named. And they have the Washington Post went to great pains to go into so much detail, and they were able to sort of determine, okay, this person was in this place at this time, this could have happened. I think that there's enough evidence there to take it seriously, even if it's not something that can be prosecuted.
Okay, we have to take a quick break, and we'll be back for final thoughts right when we return.
Attention blood thinner users. Thousands of blood thinner users may have been exposed to serious risk by these dangerous medications. If your loved one took Xarelto or Pradaxa and suffered serious internal bleeding, call right now. Call Nightline Legal to speak with an experienced attorney for a free consultation. If we don't win, there is no fee. There are time deadlines to file a claim, so don't wait. Call right now.
Call 1-800-554-3987. Again, that's 1-800-554-3987.
Attention type 2 diabetics. The FDA warns of an increased risk of amputation associated with certain diabetes medications. If you took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation or one of these other serious injuries, call the Rely On Group right now. If you've suffered amputation or any of these injuries after taking your diabetes medication, call the Rely On Group today. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA has recently warned about an increased risk of leg and foot amputations associated with the use of certain diabetic medications such as Invokana and Invokamet. If you or a loved one took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation, ketoacidosis, kidney failure, or even death, call the Rely On Group now. We are here to help you get the justice you deserve. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-355-8205. That's 800-355-8205.
It's the holiday sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKX Sport Utility for $349 per month, or Lincoln's flagship, the 2017 Continental, for $449 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury. Winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Suncoast since 1978. We are located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC 7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
And our guests join us right now for final thoughts. I wanted to touch on tax reform this week because there's been a lot of back and forth in terms of who this plan benefits. But Kevin, around here especially, people want the government to be spending less money and they want more of their money back in terms of taxes. So I know what's going on in Washington, but is it politically dangerous for the Democrats there to be against this bill?
I think people want a fair system, and they don't want people in power and big corporations to be the main beneficiary. Let me give you an example. This Republican tax bill wants to eliminate the estate tax. The estate tax only benefits people who make who have a estate of $11.5 million or more. You know who would benefit from that here locally? The Buchanan family, who happens to be our congressman, who also happens to be the person who helped author that part of the bill.
Okay, but Deanne, I want to give you a chance to respond to that, but I also want to ask you that the Tax Policy Center pointed out that 12% of Americans from the House plan would wind up paying more money in terms of their taxes, and the vast majority of Americans who get a tax cut, it wouldn't be a lot. It would be like $1,200 a year. Got to tell you, $1,200 a year is chump change, especially if Democrats are saying, look how much wealthy Americans will get.
Right, no, but they always do studies like this on these kind of bills, and the outcome is never what they say. I could tell you this, that the Republicans in the House are geared towards, families, helping them on their taxes, and letting them, like you said, bring more money in their pocket instead of corporations and government taking away from them. Americans work hard for the money, and this is going to be geared towards letting them keep their own money.
Kate, in terms of when you talk to the general public around here, what kind of sense do you get in terms of the politics of this and whether they want any kind of tax cut?
Right. So I think in sort of my bubble, so to speak, I think a lot of people people are worried about the deficit, of course, and I think a lot of people want their tax dollars, at least, again, in St. Petersburg, very democratic city, they want their tax dollars to help. That's
okay. We could do another show on this, but we have to move on. Before we go, we want to share with you what some of you had to say about last night's show on protecting your personal information. About 140 million Americans were affected by the Equifax data breach. Some people are now paying cash instead of using credit cards to better protect themselves. Here is what some of you have to say. Kevin says, the privacy ship sailed a long time ago. If a big credit reporting agency like Equifax can't do a job protecting us, then who can? And Arlene says, time to start buying loaded Visa gift cards and pay with those. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. And a reminder, for updates on national and local breaking news, you can download the latest version of our app. Android users, you'll get it automatically. iPhone users, you need to go to the App Store and re-download the app. Just search for WWSB or My Suncoast. We want to thank our guests for being here today. Deanne Ramos of the Northport Republican Club, Kevin Griffith, the Vice Chair of the Sarasota Democratic Party, and Kate Bradshaw, the Politics Editor of Creative Loafing. When we return, we'll have a final look at your first alert weather, plus Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore is accused of sexual misconduct with a 14-year-old girl when he was in his 30s, and we'll have more on that after the break.